rivers or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Phoenix client management models are built on understanding our clients' security needs and responding with a tailored program that is best fit for them. Phoenix provides excellent customer service through well-trained, highly motivated security professionals. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. Currently, we are comprised of 70% prior law enforcement and military veterans. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
Hey, good evening and welcome to Fish Out Northwest. Wayne England, Tommy Donlin.
Hey, back in studio.
Little hiccup there. I did some movement around of our inventory and I left something off. That might be the intro piece, but it happens.
That's okay. Here we are.
Here we are. Busy week. Back in studio. Obviously, last week we were well immersed into the Sportsman show that was. So we'll get into that in a bit. Want to welcome everybody with us tonight, coming to you live 6 p.m. Thursday evening, as we do each and every week, from the lovely shores of Summit Lake, located here in Olympia, Washington. Glad to be back in studio. Evening. Folks are starting to sign on here, Tommy. I anticipate a pretty good attendance this evening. As per usual, we have a number of great topics to get through, some guests lined up, and some really good conversation you and I are going to have later on in the show. But before we get in there, I want to remind everybody, hey, please jump over to our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. A lot of you came down and saw us at the Sportsman Show, walked out with a lot of our merchandise and swag. Well, there's always more where that came from. And we keep a lot of that on our online store at our webpage. If you haven't checked us out, go to our webpage, follow us, subscribe, if you will, and get notifications from time to time and in emails when it's appropriate. Also, if you would, jump over to our YouTube channel. We are on multiple platforms, YouTube being one of them. We are attempting to grow our YouTube channel week by week, and it's going pretty well. So want to continue that. If you haven't subscribed there, please do so, help us out. And of course, those of you joining us on Facebook tonight, and or we actually kind of live over there on Twitch too. Though unless you're a gamer, you don't really know what that is, right? So
that's how you play this game.
That's how you play this game, right? All right, with that, Mister, how are you? How's the week? How's things going?
Doing good. I'm down 38 pounds since January 3rd.
Oh yes, the weekly update on the weight. 38 pounds.
38 pounds.
How does that feel?
It's feeling really good, and I'm in the middle of a 5-day fast, right? Got to get the autophagy rolling, so I'm just going to keep steamrolling this thing until I get to 240.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could fast for like, I don't know, 4 hours, and then I'm like, I got to eat something.
It's time to eat,
Yeah, 5 days, that is crazy, but good for you. Yeah, you're looking good.
Getting there, getting there.
Pretty soon you're going to be the skinny one of the group here.
That is the plan. I probably will never get as skinny as Jordan.
No.
I don't think that's humanly possible, but getting a little closer.
Well, you could just not eat for like 4 weeks.
I think it would take me a whole year to get there. No offense, Jordan.
Yeah, no offense. That's called jealousy.
Yeah, it's jealousy.
That is nothing.
This is what jealousy looks like.
This is what jealousy looks like, right? So, well, good, man. Keep it going.
Yeah, roger that.
Yeah, time to continue with the New Year's movements and working out and getting in shape and thinking about all the things you want to do later on here this year and the hunts and the seasons we want to get through. Got to be in shape for that stuff.
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
harder and harder for old guys like me.
Yep.
So sleep's important.
Yep. Well, and I should be able to carry at least another quarter, right? If I lose this weight.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
2, maybe even 3.
Yeah, stack the weight on for sure, packing it out. So, all right, as we move along here, I had mentioned the Sportsman show. Man, what a turnout. Relatively speaking. I mean, they had some mandates in place and people were a little leery about coming out, and opening day was pretty good. Thursday was a little bit of a lull.
Friday and Saturday were the days, though.
Friday
we
and
had
Saturday.
Just a ton of people coming in, saying hi.
Yeah.
And it was like, for me, it was like a family reunion because we didn't have a show last year. And so all those people that you would typically see in that Sportsman show, they weren't there last year.
Yeah.
So it's like reconnecting with a lot of folks. It's good to see people in their booths. And people were coming by to buy the swag.
Oh, man.
Sherry did a phenomenal job. I got to give her a lot of credit in setting up the stand.
Yeah.
The hoodies particularly, and some of the hats were just flying off the shelf.
Yeah, well, we have so many people really love our logos and the way we've kind of spread them out and the different types of logos we've, Don has helped us create over the last couple of years. And a lot of that stuff, as we put it on hoodies, front or back print, plus the Fish Hunt Northwest and all the different hats and stuff. It's just the merchandise has gone full on, and you're right, Shing's done an amazing job in that regard. But yeah, apparently I was told it was about 30% down as far as vendor participation, and you could kind of get a sense of that because the far building wasn't occupied, the upstairs at the hunting pavilion wasn't occupied, but it really didn't matter. It was a smaller footprint, which wasn't bad. Of course, we don't get a lot of time to get out and see and talk other than prior to opening, and then at the end of the day, you're so exhausted, you just want to get out of there. But we did have a good turnout. We want to thank everybody for coming by the booth, purchasing our merchandise, giving us accolades for what it is we do here each and every week. The format, Tommy, that you and I lay out. Yeah. The conversations we're willing to have, the topics we cover. I think the over-resounding message from you folks that tune in week and week out and give us support is keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Keep having those conversations. We love all the how-tos. We love the on the water and in the woods, the hunting, the fishing, all that. But we also have that extra special element of conversation. Right. That people really are drawn to.
It's good to get that feedback because sometimes you're always wondering if your message and the content is resonating with the viewers, right? And is there something for everybody in the overall show, right? Yeah. And so, I certainly appreciate people taking the time to stop by and thank us for the content. Yes. And to give that message to keep doing what you're doing. Right. And, I think that depending on the viewer, it could be something else that they really look forward to. It could be the recipe of the week. Yep. It could be, I'm a technical gear junkie, right? So I myself do just a ton of research looking at different how-to videos. So the Bait Lab resonates with a lot of the people. Yep. And then, like you said, we cover hunting, we cover saltwater, we cover freshwater, right? And so it's a little bit for everybody. But I really appreciate the feedback, and I would say, even if you got feedback that we don't want to hear, I want to know that too, right?
We want to hear, but we don't want to hear it, right?
Right. Yeah, I'd rather hear the negative stuff too, like the things that you don't like. And it's kind of one of those things that it's a litmus test, right? So it's like, okay, I heard it one time, I'll probably ignore that one input, but if I start hearing that 5 times, 6 times, hey, maybe it's something that we need to tweak a little bit going forward.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there is a small contingent of you folks, I get it. You don't like the commercial breaks we take, but this is a produced show that we are creating, and our commercial breaks are what, our supporters and our contributors to this show help us keep it going. So we ask that you tolerate the infrequent commercial breaks and help us out in regards of patroning those businesses that support us, because they are 100% on board with us. All sponsors coming back for 2022. We're rolling into this year with some new sponsors. We're going to roll. Archery World is on board. We got some new ones coming on board in the next couple of months. It's just moving, and we have to thank the fans and the followers and all of you that have stuck with us now. We're just about to the end of season 3. as far as, you know, calendar. We're saying we're kicking off season 4 here, but it really, from where we started to where it is right now, it's just gangbusters.
Amazing, yeah. So, and we couldn't do it without the sponsors, right? We would not have the show.
Oh, correct.
You know, to pay for the studio, to pay for all the production equipment, to pay for the time. So there is an investment that has to be made in order to produce the show and provide the content.
Absolutely. So, but again, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to the fans and the followers and you folks that subscribe to this and help us share our content and the topics that we have, and it, you know, over resounding once again, the information that we're putting out and the topics, it's resonating with folks. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going.
JJ says we need to come out with pink boat rags, boat towels.
Oh, yeah.
That's
not a bad idea. Yeah.
I like that.
Good idea. Okay.
That's a good one.
Speaking of which, all this stuff piled up here on the front of the desk, Tommy, that makes it look like absolute clutter and disheveledness. There's a reason for this. We have a lot of swag here. It's a Fish Hunt Northwest and Max Lure combined prize pack. It exceeds $100 easily with everything sitting there. That is going out to one lucky winner who was fortunate enough to enter the drawing Saturday or Sunday down at the Sportsman Show via purchase or spinning the wheel, whatever your qualifier was. Their name, their tag is in the bucket. Towards the end of the show, we will be drawing a name out of there and prizing somebody up with all this swag. So make sure you're tuning in and make sure you pay attention, because that's happening later on in the show. Speaking of which, shows and things going on, you, my friend, are still connected to the boat show for a couple more days.
Absolutely. You know, and so I've already given 3 seminars so far. You know, gave one on how to find tuna. And by the way, all the seminars this year are completely brand new. And, you know, I'm always trying to tune the information that I provide, that I deliver, you know, bring together all of the new lessons learned from year to year to year. And so every presentation that I'm giving this year is absolutely brand new. The first one that I gave, which is how to find tuna, I thought with, you know, how hard it was to pin down those schools in 2021. I really wanted to stop and focus on, you know, sea surface temperature, chlorophyll, how to read thermoclines, like what decisions do you make based on the data that you find, right? That was seminar 1. Seminar 2, I did, you know, how to catch large model halibut and lingcod. And so I traditionally will give a halibut and lingcod seminar, but this seminar is different in that I just wanted to focus on just the tactics to produce big fish. Okay. And that was yesterday, but you can also view it online. I'll get to that in a second. And then, of course, I delivered the tuna tackle and tactics, right? So opening up the tackle box and really talking about, I think the golden piece of that seminar is I talk about 5 spreads, okay, 5 trolling spreads, and when to recognize when to use each one, what tackle goes with each one, how you set that up. And then the one that I'm giving Saturday will be on top bets for coastal salmon fishing.
Oh, nice.
So talking about, you know, a lot of the CQ, Nia Bay, La Push, Westport action, how to fish each of those areas, the tackle involved. And, you know, just so people can, you know, keep in mind, don't worry if you didn't make it, because if you buy that virtual package deal at the boat show, and there's a couple different levels, you can continue to watch all of those seminars after the show. So it's still available. And then the other thing that I'd say is, you know, as you and I talked before the show, we're gonna do some really intentional series for the fisheries that are coming up, and you know, looking at 2-3-part series for halibut fishing. You know, covering different aspects of that fishery in the bait lab and how to prep for that. You know, so if you missed it, don't worry. More is on the way.
We're going to go deep in the bait lab for sure as we roll into these seasons coming up and these fisheries. You know, as spring rolls around, man, it's exciting times, Tommy, because a lot of our fisheries are just on the forefront, and it's like, okay, so we want to get the information to you prior to finding ourselves in that season.
Right.
So your point to that is, you're gonna put together a 2-3-part series of preparation for halibut fishing that folks are asking for. This kind of stems from feedback we're getting from your seminars, folks that can't quite make it, folks that maybe can't afford the high-end package that is all-inclusive. Well, that's the beauty of our show. We can format what it is we choose to format.
Absolutely.
And we're going to listen to you people. You want to see stuff in the bait lab, we are going to put that together for you and really drill down on some teaching points to help you find success later in the season. So good stuff to come in that regard. I'm excited. Our bait labs are going to be just going like crazy this coming year once again. So, okay, we got some clam dig dates once again.
We do. So here's the clam digs coming up. I'll read down the list. February 14th, which is a Monday. Low tide is at 5:35 p.m. Long Beach, February 15th, Tuesday, 6:09 p.m. out of Long Beach and Mocrox. The 16th, Wednesday, 6:42 p.m. Long Beach and Copalis. The 17th, Thursday, Long Beach and Twin Harbors. And then Friday, the 18th, -1.2, Long Beach, Twin Harbors, and Copalis. Still something that I have not done myself. Someday I will do a clam dig. I mean, I've done like, steamer clam, stuff like that.
This is what I love. It's like you get me out doing some things that I either have scheduled previously, it never came. It's like weather, whatever. And we've had some experiences out on the boat and on the ocean, and things have just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then we've been able to introduce you to these other things.
Slew of things.
So it's just that is the beauty of your strengths, my strengths, and how this actually works.
Yeah, and there's just so many opportunities.
Oh, it's just crazy.
And then
it's so hard to keep up on them all.
Yeah, and it's like if I didn't have to work and I didn't have a honey-do list, and money was no option, I would just be covering it all, right?
Right, absolutely. Hey, I want to catch everybody up. Senate is still in session. Legislation, I should say, is still in session. We're about halfway through this early part of the year with legislative session. One of the ones that, Tommy, we had been following is Senate Bill 5567. That was introducing alternative gear selection options as far as commercial harvest. If you have been following us, you know that we've talked about pound nets, fish wheels, all the variables that were removed off the table back in 1931, and it was strictly put on to gill nets and then later tangle nets. So apparently Senate Bill 5567 is dead on arrival, not going anywhere, so there'll be no fish wheels, there'll be no fish traps, there'll be no alternative gear selection options. So we are basically still commercial harvest, Columbia and other parts of the region with gill nets and tangle nets. Okay, so that's status quo. We still are moving forward also as they construct seasons relative to the Columbia fisheries as it weighs in with Oregon and Washington. Still indifferences there. They have not become concurrent with language that would appease both sides. So still no movement there, but that is where it landed once again. Not enough support to change the alternative gear selection options in the realm of commercial harvest, just to bring you up to date on that. So,
by the way, Larry on YouTube says that my goal for this year should be kokanee.
Yes, it should be. Yes, it should be. Before we jump to the and fishing for kokanee more than just grabbing bait for halibut. So one thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention, we had a bit of a steelhead escapement. Some steelhead escaped at large. Have you seen me? All these steelhead out there swimming around, right? A great little graphic we put together. Once again, WDFW was on the hook for accounting for 250,000 steelhead smolt. This is over on the east side. Nearly 250,000 young fin-clipped steelhead escaped from the southeast Washington hatchery following an equipment failure. It's stated to be a significant loss that will most likely impact the state's lower Grand Ronde in early 2024. Now, conversely, fishing could also be really good at Lyons Ferry on the Snake. It totally depends on the survivability of these smolt and if they're, where they're heading and if they can survive at the time of them entering into the Columbia River as we know it once they get there. But it looks like there was a gasket unexpectedly deteriorated, left about 1.5 inch gap, which was big enough for them to swim out. Now, 250,000 in that controlled environment, they didn't realize it. They literally didn't realize it until they drew. So that's like a 12-foot deep.
Yeah. Can you imagine? So you're sitting there, you're getting ready to move these smolt over to an acclimation pond, right? In the Ronde. And so you're drawing down the water so that you can access these fish to move them.
Yeah.
And you get down to the bottom and you go, where are all the fish?
Where are all the kids?
Where'd they go?
We left without the children again.
Yes.
So it's in the report. It was it's a 12-foot deep rearing area. They draw it down to about 6 foot, which exposes this screened wheel, which is where this gasket resides. And they're like, oh, we got a problem here.
Right. And so, and they look at this gasket, right, and they go, oh, it is literally falling apart. The material of the gasket is crumbling to the point where it creates this 1.5 inch gap.
Yep. And the fish swim out, which the reason we bring this to your attention is because this article hit my phone, Tommy, during the Sportsman show, literally blew up. WDFW, once again, incompetence. They need to fire these people. There's just this list of hate and discontent. And I looked into it. Now, I didn't call Chris Donnelly, friend with Chris Donnelly, Region 1 manager over there. A great guy, solid individual. He's been on the show multiple times. He's talked about a lot of the really good things they're doing with the Roosevelt area and a lot of those big water areas in Region 1. He was quoted in the article and saying, look, this is not a personnel issue.
Right.
This is not a staff problem. This is an equipment failure that we've recognized. Now, keep in mind, their maintenance process is they draw down, they check these annually.
Right.
And they replace them probably annually. Or
and
when
they had
required.
to replace this seal.
That one was in there for 6 to 8 months and it crumbled, as you said, right? You can't foresee that. So versus a complete fish die-off, like in a retention area, it's like we lost 500,000 smolt. We don't know why. We had a bacteria outbreak and they're all dead. That I put on the lack of the process. The money's available.
Adherence to the process.
So this is an equipment failure. They escaped.
This is they ordered the gasket that they typically order from their supplier. They get this gasket. It doesn't have the right material properties for whatever reason. It degrades before they hit their inspection interval, and now they have the situation where these smolt escape.
So you know, there's no need to hate on WDFW on this one. In some regards, we got a bunch of fish out there a little early that I guess we'll see survivability or not. Right? We'll see how it goes. So moving on. All right, running down the show. We got a busy one. We're going to jump out for break. We come back. We're going to have Tommy Tucker, owner of 360 Fishing or 360 Fishing, Steelhead Fishing, Southwest Washington. Tommy, area compared to say the coast. Rules of engagement. How to be successful and enjoy the experience, because there's differences on your approach. We're going to get with Tommy. He's very good at describing what that looks like. Then we're also going to give you a treat, FHN recipe of the week, duck breast and coconut curry. Simply amazing. I got to tell you, man, Jeff Maxfield, owner of Finn's Bistro and co-host Shing, bringing it to you, another great one. When we went and did that series of recipe cooks up there.
You made sure I was busy doing something else that weekend.
You had things going on, thankfully, so I got some food. But this one, this is back when you used to eat.
Right.
This one was a standout. This is by far my favorite of all the ones we did on that particular day. Later on the show, Tommy, we're going to have a conversation between you and I. We've been following the movement on the commission, the appointees of the commission. We delved into who these people are. We have questions about some of these folks, but, you know, in true fairness, when some of our commissioners do the right thing, you got to stand up for them.
Absolutely.
We have to also educate you folks, make you aware of those on the commission who are our allies. Kim Thorburn is one of those who, in my mind, and your mind, Tommy, is a standout. She has done some really good things over time. She went on record twice supporting the spring bear hunt. And not only that, recently, article with her quoted and written on, she had some things to say about the process in selection. Very interesting coming from a current seated commissioner. This is some information you guys need to hear, so stay tuned. Get into that later in the show. And then hunting and negativity, or I actually like to refer to as hunter negativity. Can't we all just get along, and do antlers really matter, right?
That'll be a good one.
This is one I know you're looking forward to. This stems from some interaction on our social medias as of late. Figured it was worth having the discussion, and I'm waiting to see things blow up here on our board as the evening progresses. So, all right, that is the rundown. Lots of info to cover. We got a raffle towards the end of the show. Lots going on. Hey, we're going to jump out for a quick break. While we do so, invite your friends to come join us. Make sure they find us either on Facebook or jump to our YouTube channel and subscribe. You have a couple minutes to do so. We'll jump out for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get Tommy Tucker, owner of 360 Fishing, on the phone, talk a little steelhead fishing right here at Fish Up Northwest.
Co. and Outdoor Emporium is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh yeah. Oh, oh. No, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
Hi, this is Joe and Megan from Archery World. We have 4 store locations. We are at the Lacey location right now. I just want to highlight some of our camping gear. We have Mystery Ranch packs. We also have trekking poles. We have crispy boots. We have 6-hour optics. We carry Havalon knives. We carry Garmin products as well. So it's not just archery. We want to try to make this one-stop shopping for you guys. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Hey, welcome back in studio here, Fish Hunt Northwest, waiting on Tommy Donlin in studio. And on the phone, Tommy Tucker, owner of 360 Fishing. You can find him at www.360fishingtrips.com. Tommy, how you doing this evening, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Thanks.
I'm going to have to figure this out. If I say Tommy and both of you start talking, we're going to have an issue.
It's going to be confusing.
Yeah,
you can call me Donlin for this one.
I'll call you Donlin.
Yeah.
I'll refer to you as
Sir Donlin.
No, it'll be the Donlin.
Yeah.
So, anyway, hey, Tommy, so steelhead season is upon us. You know, there's some limiting or restricting factors in effect, as we all know. But because of your opportunity to cover a couple of different regions, I thought it would be interesting to get your perspective tonight on, say, some of the areas you focus on Southwest Washington compared to the coast. So jumping into it right now, or as of late, are you spending more time in Southwest Washington, or you kind of favoring the coast here middle of February?
Yeah, so I started my steelhead fishing early December, and went through January here in Southwest Washington. But I bumped around a little bit and gone up north last week in January, and then been up there a little bit since. And I'll continue spending pretty much the rest of my season till the end of March up north chasing those big wild fish. But
Gotcha.
A lot of opportunity down in Southwest Washington as well as up north.
So talk about the rules of engagement, because they are different by area. So what are the differences between Southwest Washington and those coastal rivers?
Yeah, so some of the big ones, and it is kind of tough when you're bumping around fishing down south and then you go back up north. But, one of them is, we can fish barbs on a lot of the rivers here in Southwest Washington. We can fish treble hooks. We can fish dual treble hooks on some rivers, and dual presentation setups, bait. And, we can fish from the boat on, pretty much everything for the most part. So those are kind of the biggest differences. When you go up north, you're limited to no bait You can fish out of the boat on some stretches of river, but it's single barbless. Those are kind of the main differences.
So you got clients in the boat, you're floating a Southwest Washington River. What is kind of your go-to? I mean, I can think back to the handful of years I was guiding. It's very apparent first thing in the morning, like, these people can cast, or no, they can't. So now I'm going to spend a full day running plugs. I mean, do you kind of base it off, techniques that work and capability of the actual anglers in the boat?
Yeah, you're definitely spot on there, Dwayne. If you got some folks who don't want to cast as much and just want to catch fish, bring the plug rods out a little bit more. Absolutely. But, if you got somebody who's pretty dialed, I'm going to be running probably a double bead setup or bait and a bead, something like that.
Yeah.
And, especially for those hatchery fish, it's really hard to go wrong with any of those things.
So with all these heavy coastal river regulations that you now have to deal with, how has your approach changed on those coastal rivers in terms of just general approach to getting down the river, tactics that you're using? How's that been working out for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's so different, and it just makes you as a guide look at water so much differently. So much more differently, because you're looking for spots that you could fish it from the bank or way deep enough to fish. So I'll be looking, throughout just little areas where I can get my guys out. Some spots are easier than others. Other spots are, they're going to wade up to their waist. And again, it just kind of goes off of my client's, ability to get after it. If he wants to go up to his waist and, fill all those pinholes up and stand a good chance at catching a fish, I'm going to bring him to a lot of different things. If I got somebody who just wants to be, on dry land casting, not getting their feet cold, it's going to be a little different program.
Yeah, that sounds like Jordan.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like Jordan. So how about, you got a number of clients that are returning clients for you. And now the last couple seasons out there on the coast, you've been faced with a completely different approach, and you're introducing them to kind of some different ideas and how to fish. What's their response been to the change? I mean, you basically, like on those coastal streams, you may not cover as many miles of river because you're stopping and going so much more, getting people out on gravel bars, they're casting, they're fishing. Is there some enjoyment on their half, as far as that experience compared to what it's always been, kind of on the move, pulling plugs when applicable, bobber dogging, covering a lot of water, seeing a lot more river miles in a day versus now having to slow down in this approach?
Yeah, no, that's another good question. And it's just different. It used to be awesome to cover 12, 14 miles fishing from the boat, just fishing on the go, looking for those kind of, first pass biters. But with this new regulation, it's also kind of cool because we're just getting more time to pick apart certain runs and stuff. So, you can really cover a run really well when you're fishing it from the bank, whether it's switching presentations up through there or throwing some metal through. You're just really able to pick it apart better than you used to be able to do from the boat, in my opinion.
One of the things that, because I've fished all over the world, and I would rather go out with, a good guide or a good charter captain and learn the fishery. And I actually, and this is going to sound crazy, but I actually value that learning more than I actually value the catching of the fish, right?
No, it makes sense.
If you go out and you catch a bunch of fish, right, you go 1 mile outside the marina,
yeah,
and that's what it is, and you get your limit and you go back in. What did I learn? I didn't really learn anything.
Yeah, you didn't even have to work for it.
And so,
right? Yeah.
what I'm kind of wondering about, the coastal regulations versus the Southwest region. These regulations cause you to reevaluate your program, and also your client experience is a lot different, right? Because now you're forced to get out of that boat. And you're really giving that client a chance to absorb the river, how it's laid out, where to lay their float in, which seams to fish, versus maybe drifting a river in Southwest Washington where you're just maybe you're not getting out of the boat, right, and you're predominantly staying in the boat, and you're as the guide, you're controlling a lot of where their floats are, how they fish. and how successful they are, right? They probably don't realize it, right? Your clients think, well, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I'm making the perfect cast and yada, yada, yada. But, I'm curious about the learning part. Do you feel that, your anglers now that are forced to get out on the bank, that they're actually learning more as a result of that?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and I think you're 100% spot on. Because when we're fishing from the boat, it's more like, cast right here, let it float, okay, reel it in, adjust your depth here, cast here, and they're basically just my casting arm, like for my head. And when you put them on the bank,
that's well said.
They're the ones who are doing all the work, covering the water, gridding it out, and they're the ones who are actually, in my opinion, really catching the fish. Awesome. And I think they can relate to that too, because they'll pick apart a run and then their bobber will finally drain and be like, oh yeah, I did that. And then they can kind of apply that on their own, when they go home and fish their home river system.
Yeah, the only downside here is you're teaching all these folks to truly be anglers. They're learning to read water. They're understanding where steelhead like to hold, presentation, and all of those tools that make for hopefully a successful opportunity. And so pretty soon your client list dwindles in that regard. So, well, awesome stuff in all of that, in trying to, kind of just put it out there, what it kind of means, or how you reflect on the season. And truly the differences on what these rules have created. It limits your opportunity in some regards. But, if you look at the positive side of it, it actually opens up opportunity for persons to step into that classroom, which I think is so valuable. You just can't underestimate the day and the enjoyment that they take away from that. So before we let you go, I want to jump into a quick talk on springers. The numbers are out. You will be running some springer trips. We want to make sure folks know where to get a hold of you. But before we get there, what are your thoughts on some of these forecasts? You kind of anticipating some good opportunity this season?
Yeah, it's looking like so far from the forecast for the Columbia and some of the tributaries, they're looking on par with last year, which, anybody who was fishing last year knows it was a pretty good year. So if it's anything like that, I think we're going to have some great opportunity, end of March, early April, and even further on.
Yeah. Okay, so you got openings as it relates to springers, and if so, can folks contact you on your webpage? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can reach out on the webpage or give me a call. Phone number is 360-830-6199. I'll be running some Willamette trips, some Columbia River trips for those last days it's open in April.
Yeah,
and then I'll be fishing some tributary stuff down here in Southwest Washington later in the month.
Perfect. Probably we'll see you out on the water more than one occasion. So always a pleasure, Tommy. Appreciate you taking the time, buddy, to jump on and help us out in figuring out exactly what's going on this season with steelhead. Look forward to seeing you out there on the water for springer. And don't be a stranger, man. Come back anytime.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Tommy. And good luck to everybody this steelhead season.
Amen. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll keep in touch. Yep. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Tommy Tucker, 360 Fishing. Look him up. www.360fishingtrips.com is where you're going to find Tommy Tucker. He's been doing it for a long time. We'll introduce you to a phenomenal day, whether he's in his big boat, raft, drift boat, what have you. He's got the tools to make your day happen. All right. With that, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. Don't go anywhere. This is a recipe you're going to want to definitely take in. If you have duck or goose or even pheasant, Tommy would be good in this particular recipe. I know within the presentation here, I think Chef Jeff says we're within season, because I believe when we shot this, we were within season of waterfowl, which is now closed. But for all you that have a bunch of waterfowl in your freezer, this is a fantastic recipe that you will want to try. So jump out for a couple minutes. We come back. We're in the kitchen at Finn's Bistro. Chef Jeff Maxfield and Shing on a fantastic recipe, duck breast in coconut curry. Back in a couple minutes right here at Fish on Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
Welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. We're here in the kitchen of Finn's Bistro with the chef and co-owner in Issaquah. And what do we have here?
We're doing some duck. So,
yeah.
You know, we're getting to be in the heart of duck season right now, and it's a great opportunity. This recipe, we're going to make a take on Thai curry. You know, we're using mallard today, but this would be a great way to use, you know, one of those diver ducks that, you know, might have a little gamier flavor. You know, real important for any duck, actually, that, you know, or any fowl that we do in this dish is trimming all that silver skin, making sure you get all the feathers, any shot that's, you know, in that meat, pull it all out, because the last thing you want to do is, you know, when you're eating this at the table is chip a tooth on a shot or something like that. Yeah. So we've got our duck here. We're using carrot. You can add really any vegetable. I like the vibrancy of the color of carrots, and it goes really well into curry. I've got some multicolored potatoes here that have just been steamed. You can certainly cut them a little bit smaller and put them in raw in this dish, which works perfectly fine. We've got shiitake mushrooms, we've got garlic, we've got ginger, jalapeno. The recipe that I have, if you want it spicier, leave the seeds in. If you want it less spicy, you can even leave the whole pepper out. This is the red Thai curry paste. Comes in a couple different colors. They've got yellow. Yep. They've got yellow. They've got red. They've got a green one. It's all, you know, they're all good, and you can find them on any grocery store shelf. Typically in the Asian aisle. These are kaffir lime leaves, which are you know, just a really nice lime floral fragrance there. Lemongrass. Is that
something you just leave in there and then take it out when you're done cooking?
You can serve it in there. It's just well, I wouldn't eat it, but you can you know, you can work around it.
Okay.
And then it beats having to fish stuff out of the dish. Lemongrass, coconut milk. Unsweetened coconut milk for this application, a little bit of rice vinegar and some sugar, and then in the back here we've got all of our garnishes that we're going to put on at the very end. All right, so
looks amazing.
We're gonna, we'll slide this out of the way. For lemongrass, you know, keep it in your freezer to, you know, it'll last just like ginger in your freezer. It'll last for quite some time. For this dish, we're just going to do a little bit of it. You can save these ends and pieces if you were going to cook rice for this dish. Put a couple of the chunks of lemongrass right on top of your rice when it goes in the rice cooker, and that way it you know, adds a nice little scent to that rice. And just use your knife just to kind of bruise it a little bit. And that's it. Well, maybe put another couple chops on there. You want to keep it big enough because it's not really good to bite into lemongrass. It's a little chewy.
When you're having a bad day, you can take it out on the lemongrass.
That's right. That's right. All right, so we'll bring this over close to the stove here. You want to use a heavy-bottomed dish or a pan with high sides on it for this. Heavier the pan, the longer it takes for things to scorch. You know, the heat doesn't transfer so quickly through it, which, you know, the minute you look away and you're doing something like this that has a thickness to it, you know, the minute you turn away, if you don't have a heavy bottom pan, it's gonna scorch pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to our pan. Just a neutral flavored oil. You don't need, you know, you could put sesame oil in it if you'd like. You know, another one that works really well for this is a wok. You know, and so if you've got a wok, even an electric skillet, you know, one of those countertop ones works really well. All right. So we've got
duck
a little bit of heat coming out of there, yep. So we'll start with the duck. And, you know, duck cooks pretty quickly, so you don't need, you know, to let it sit in that pan all by itself. You know, it gets kind of lonely in there. So, some of the things.
Seared the duck, usually.
So I typically add things in order of, you know, how long they're going to take to cook to be tender. So carrots will go in. You know, we can add our shiitake mushrooms now. You know, and you can, you know, if you don't like mushrooms, you can obviously, you know, if you had leftover vegetables from the night before, it's a great way to use, you know, your vegetables in here. Next, I'm going to take our lime leaf and just kind of bruise it in your fingers.
Okay.
You know, pretty easy. And we'll add our lemongrass.
The flavors and brings it out.
Yep. Okay. So we'll add our lemongrass. Ginger, and all the amounts for a larger batch. Most of the recipes I've got are, you know, feed a family of 4. So, you know, if it's just 2 of you, it's enough for leftovers for the following day.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, and we'll add, how much heat do you like?
A lot.
Okay.
Dwayne, not so much.
Okay, well, Dwayne, and a sissy over there. All right. So now we've got our red chili paste, which is our curry. So it's just a mixture of spices. There's ginger in it, galangal root, some other different things. You can see now here that the pan is starting to, you know, things are starting to happen in the bottom of the pan.
Yeah, and you can see with a different pan, it would fry it too much. Yeah. So
little rice vinegar. That's going to help lift all that stuff off the bottom. Okay. And you can see now it's already kind of making a sauce in there. And next we're going to add our coconut milk.
And so that just adds a little sweetness, right?
It just gets a richness, and, you know, that's where you get that, you know, Southeast Asian, you know, curries are different everywhere, right? You've got Japan, it's a different type of a curry, and other parts of Asia, there's a lot more coconut milk introduced. Okay. You know, and then Indian curries are completely different altogether. All right. And so... And
you already steamed the potatoes.
The potatoes are already steamed, so we're just going to kind of add those in and warm those up. You know, and if you're not a starch lover, you can always, you know, leave out the potatoes.
Well, I bet you could even...
I mean, this is going to go on top.
Flour, right?
You could. Yeah. You could. Okay, I'm going to just dust a little bit of sugar, and then I'll go back and taste.
People will probably say I ruined it with the cauliflower.
You know, I love cauliflower.
I do too.
we use it a lot in our restaurant. It's you know, typically in the fall and winter time when, you know, there's not a whole lot of fresh veggies that are grown here locally. Cauliflower and other types like that are the ones that we use quite a bit.
Yep.
All right. So this is just a slurry of cornstarch and water. Same thing you would use to thicken, you know, gravy on Thanksgiving. Just a little bit. And, you know, you can, if you like it super thick, you know, add a little bit more. If you want it looser, you can see how that almost instantly tightens up. All right. So I'm turning the heat off.
Okay.
bring this back to our table here. And so I've got some rice already pre-done that we will serve this over. And so I've got fresh basil, fresh cilantro, some green onion, a little bit of lime that I think is all great, you know, adds some different complexities to the dish. It also, you know, you want to add at the end, because if you were to add the basil and the cilantro while it's cooking, you kind of lose its vibrancy.
Yeah.
So I like to put it on at the end.
Okay.
All right.
Nice and fresh. And that's some jasmine rice that you
This
did.
is just jasmine rice,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And so we'll spoon that right over. You know, and this works, doesn't have to be duck. You know, you can do it with venison, works really well in this dish. You know, let's see, leave that little lime leaf there, just kind of with some color. And then we'll put a little bit of cilantro, a little bit of basil, a little green onion.
Looks delicious.
And then, you know, last we can do a little zest of lime.
Oh,
Let's do it
getting
this
fancy
way.
on me, Jeff.
You know, you can even squeeze a little lime juice over the top if you want it.
Yeah.
All right, and there we have it.
Okay. Well,
All right.
once again, we'll go ahead and dig in, and we'll throw it back to you guys in the studio.
Well, there you go, Thomas.
Man, I'm excited to try that. And I think, you know, we can talk to Jeff, but I think that recipe would work for, you know, maybe halibut or elk or, you know, a variety of different proteins. So.
And contrary to popular belief, and, you know, Chef Jeff called me a sissy, I do like spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like spicy. But, I mean, everybody has their limit.
Oh, yeah.
I can go a little hotter than I used to, but, yeah, you get a little too spicy.
No, I was telling you, I made the other day, I made these Thai drunken noodles, right, keto style.
Yeah.
And with you know, the geese that we shot, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I put a little bit too much spice, a little bit too much
spicy?
heat in that.
Right.
Yeah, and I was sweating a little bit.
Yeah. Chris Ward makes a good point. You know, part of the reason we like to bring you folks recipes with Chef Jeff, because he's so darn good, but we're always cooking fish, fowl, and game. Everything we do will always be fish, fowl, and game. And because of that, to his credit, Chris says on here, gonna have to give that a try, versus always converting everything to pepperoni, which for waterfowl is synonymous with a lot of hunters. To simply take it, drop it off at the meat place, have them convert it to pepperoni. So these recipes flat out take these types of meats and give it so much flavor. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't give them a try and enjoy what it is that these recipes can do for the harvest that you bring home. So well worth the effort, and it really is little to no effort to make some amazing dishes. So, all right, Tommy, we're gonna jump out for a couple-minute break. We come back, a couple in-studio discussions right here between me and Sir Donlin to my right. We are going to give credit where credit's due as it relates to the current seated commission. And then we have a little discussion following that. Hunters, can't we all just get along, and do antlers really matter? Jumping out for a couple-minute break. We'll be back right here in studio here, Fish Hunt Northwest.
Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21-foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Hi, we're Joe and Megan Malico, owners of Archery World up here in Lacey.
We're a full pro shop, so we have a full pro service also. We have a huge indoor range. We carry 11 bow lines, all the major bow lines, and then there's subsidiary companies too, like if we carry Bowtech, we carry Diamond. If we carry Matthews, we carry Mission.
When you come in, we're going to ask you, what kind of price point you're looking for. What's your hope, what's your goals with this bow, and with that information in mind, we'll point you in the direction of, that price point bows, and then maybe give you the option to test fire, maybe a higher level bow, just so you can compare. But it really is all about getting what it is that's going to work for you.
We don't upsell anyone. They shoot it, they like it, they don't like it, they don't get it. We don't operate like that. So if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
All right, welcome back in studio here. Number of things to talk about, Tommy. This is Fisheries What You Need to Know, presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons. We have spent some time in the last several weeks to month kind of discussing what it is currently, as you can refer to it however you want, the debacle that is on the commission and some of the things we've been subjected to, and some of the, it was reported and falsely reported, infighting and just persons not getting along, and there's all this rumor stuff out there about the commission and new persons coming in and just how it's creating this chaotic environment. That's not truly so the case, right?
Right, and it's not the people in the commission, right? The commission is functioning as it needs to function.
To the best of ability.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was interesting last week in the Sportsman Review newspaper. Kim Thorburn, there was an article in there, and she was quoted multiple times, and some of the things that she had alluded to. And to kind of summarize, the Washington State Fish and Wildlife Commission is in the spotlight and allegedly dysfunctional, as I was alluding to, fraught with interpersonal conflict. I mean, this is verbatim out of the article, and some legislators are proposing a way or means to fix it. And their resolve on this is, during a hearing of fix-it bills, lawmakers seem to call out the appointment process as what needs to be fixed. Now, you remember, not too long ago, so what they mean by that is some of the stuff we saw, these bills that were introduced to, let's put it underneath the Lands Commission. And by doing so, we subjected to appointees being appointed by the Commissioner of Lands.
Right, a
DNR.
single individual.
Yeah. So they wanted to completely turn around or, upturn the matrix on how this all happens.
And then make it an advisory commission.
And then,
instead of one that can set policy.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yep. So they want to go down that road. Persons like Kim Thorburn, who is one of our allies that currently sits on that commission, she kind of raised her hand and said, "Say, time out." She's gone on record saying, "I agree that the problem lies in the appointment process, not in the commission itself." But in saying that, what she means is that the parties responsible for the appointment process, and she basically said it, she called it out, the governor and the Senate.
Yep.
Following existing laws, there's already the ability to effectively comprise the commission that does what it is supposed to do: protect, perpetuate and preserve the state's fish and shellfish, the wildlife, conserve, and the authorities take so as not to imperil the resource, maximize hunting and fishing opportunities, and include volunteers in these efforts. So in other words, she's saying there's already rules in place. Yeah. And we also need to follow the process on how to put persons in the seat. That is her main stance on this.
So check this out. So, you know, in the article, it states, you know, speaking of rules, there's 2 statutes that govern commission appointments. Okay?
Correct, yep.
And I want to list these out. People can research these if you have some time. RCW 7704-030 and RCW 7704-055. By the way, neither of these are being followed today, right?
Currently, yep.
Which gets to her point of, you know, there is a process in place and there's rules that govern that process, but we're not following them. And so these rules have to do with, you know, the process of the appointments, the geographical distribution of the commissioner appointees.
Yeah, very important, yep.
The terms, the appointment dates, the time limits of filling the vacancies, right? Which we know have not been followed.
No, to the point that, and as we alluded to here several weeks ago, Larry Carpenter, whom we've both known like a long time, and he's been an advocate for hunting and fishing for years, he sat as the chair on the commission. He sat as the chair on the commission 451 days past his termination of his existing 6-year term. Governor Inslee did not reappoint anybody to position. He just kind of left him there saying, well, we're trying to figure this out. He had no motivation to change anything. So he left Larry there as the chair for an additional 451 days. Also, if those of you tuning in have been following us previously, we talked with Ryland Waithman from the East Side, who was lobbying for that East Side seat. That vacancy was left for 390 days until it was recently filled here with the latest appointees. So to your point, the process and the time restraints on the commission appointments, this is what Kim's talking about. Dr. Thorburn, she has stated that these processes are not being filled or followed.
That's right. Well, not only have those time, requirements been followed at all, but neither have the way that the qualifications of the individuals are supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
And you've noticed that it kind of started with the appointment of Lorna Smith and Fred Kuntz, right? You see 2 individuals come in, they've got zookeeping backgrounds, how to manage predators in a controlled environment, and pro-predator, and they come in, and the decisions that they had made to date are completely emotional, right?
Yeah.
And so, part of these laws, and I want to read this to you, talk about the qualification of the individuals. In making these appointments, the governor shall seek to maintain a balance reflecting all aspects of fish and wildlife, including representation recommended by organized groups representing sport fishers, us, commercial fishers, hunters, also us, private landowners, us, and environmentalists. And that's just not something we've seen in the recent appointments.
Not even close. As a matter of fact, several of our well-known hunting groups have made it known the governor did not consult them, reach out to them, hey, looking for input. Historically, the organized hunting groups and fishing groups within the state of Washington have had a say, have had the opportunity to give input on the types of persons and or bring persons to the forefront and say, this individual is high on our radar. We support this individual in moving them into a commission seat. We would like you to see the value of that. So there's also a considerable well-founded speculation. This is the one that kind of grinds my gears here, that the only groups consulted in this entire process were organized anti-hunting groups. So not only has the pendulum swung so far to not involve the well-established groups and organizations that have been here in the state of Washington for a number of years, have historically had input on assisting with giving, well, just that, input to the selection process, but blatant disregard for that. And let's just go completely over here and let's take the input from the animal rights activist groups and individuals they represent. Extremist environmentalist fringe whose beliefs have little or nothing to do with fish and wildlife conservation. That should be a concern to everybody tuning in tonight.
Yeah. Well, and to expand on that further, the commission's mandate to really conserve and manage the state's fish and wildlife, it's not being adhered to, just like plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know, these animal rights activist groups, they're advocating, you know, no hunting of a certain species, banning traditional methods of hunting, right? None of that is bipartisan, right? That is strictly the governor and adhering to his constituents, which lie within these activist groups. I mean, let's face it, right?
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with keeping the mandate and the purpose of the commission. You know, furthermore, these groups and these recent commission appointments, they're bringing conflict to the mandate, right?
Yeah.
They're not adhering to their responsibilities, and they've made it a political issue instead of the rightful management of the fish and game in our state. I mean, case in point is the black bear hunt vote, right? And also their stance on the Blues Mountain elk. So we've seen in public view, just in plain sight, they're not hiding where they stand.
No, not
right?
at all.
It is there for everybody to see.
Well, when you have that support, when you have drawn and garnered the support of thousands of people, you're just going to put it out there.
Right.
Because it's not like you're standing on an island of your own. You have loaded the process. You've loaded the deck to say, hey, this is the direction I'm taking this, and all you people with me, yes, absolutely. To swing it completely the other way. The problem here is because it's become so politicized, it disrupts the commission's duty to the mission.
Yes.
What's the mission? To find equitable opportunity for all of us to engage in hunting and fishing where applicable in the name of conservation. And we're given that right to take that opportunity when it's there. And there's plenty of opportunity out there, but they're finding ways to work around it. To say, oh no, we just no.
Just lower the elk objective and cancel the hunts.
And don't pay attention to the science.
Right.
We're gonna base this off emotion.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 have tuned in tonight to say they don't want to see spring bears killed. Right. Well, how come? Well, they're crying. Look at them. They,
yeah, right.
You know,
it's an emotional
we can't
response.
do this. So
the same group of people that said follow the science in other areas.
Another statement or quote in the article that I was got my hackles up. Apparently, the animal rights groups have the ear or an ally in the governor.
Yeah, they do.
So if the current governor is giving time for these folks to weigh in and you know that he gives them an ear, or if they find an ally in him, that's concerning for all of us. It has been suggested multiple times we don't need new laws to improve the function of the Fish and Wildlife Commission. We need to utilize the laws that are in place.
Right.
Somebody needs to be held accountable to ensure that these laws are being followed. Brian Blake was in here several weeks ago. He says, look, there's timestamps on this stuff, but it kind of becomes problematic with one-party rule.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to call them out.
There's no punishment, right?
No, there's no punishment. There's no punishment. So in that regard, I want you folks to remember that as far as the bear vote that will be coming up here shortly, early March, the 9-person commission that we have now, all 9 seats are filled. Molly Linville is currently the chair. She was co-chair or vice chair. She has been moved temporarily into the chair position until the commission votes on who they want in the chair seat. I'd be very happy to see Molly Linville as the chair. I think she'd do a phenomenal job. Why do I say that? Well, the 4 that voted in favor of the bear hunt were Commissioners Kim Thorburn, as we mentioned, Molly Linville, Jim Anderson, and then Don McIsaac. They're all in favor of. We're going to see where this goes. We already weighed our bets.
We just need one more.
I think it's going to be a 5-4, and we're going to land where we want to land. But I guess we'll see. Again, this is just our opportunity to take advantage of some information that was put out there. A lot of you guys don't see all this stuff. We like to kind of break it down, bullet point the matter of facts, and bring it to you because we feel, Tommy, that Kim Thorburn, Dr. Thorburn, needs some credit where credit's due.
Right.
So in that regard. Switching gears, my friend, actually kind of staying on the hunting realm. So put out some information here last week, kind of ran some ads on our social media and stuff and generated some pictures that were getting thrown out there. There were a few folks that weighed in on one of your higher elevation cow hunts that you were successful.
Right, yep, my Idaho elk hunt.
Okay, and the question was, mighty hunter, look at me, I kill a cow.
Yeah, right. Why are you, it says something effective like, why are you smiling? Why are you happy that, that you shot a cow elk?
Yeah, so, and that got me to thinking, I go, here again is why we have struggles in moving forward on some of our issues and things that we're supposed to be battling, because we can't even be united within our own group.
Right.
Now, the breakdown on that is, if you do what you do, you self-load, you have multiple guns, you put in time on the range, you dial in your ballistics, you dial in your scopes, you have your dope charts, you put your engineer hat on, and you are very efficient and effective in longer range shooting than most would be comfortable in doing.
Yep.
Okay? I, mostly due to time restraints, but maybe that'll change. Typically, I have my gun that I enjoy, my 270.
Yep.
I go to the range a few times, I dial it in, I shoot ammo out of the box, like most do. I figure out which ammo is coinciding well with my specific gun. We take all the specs, we put together my dope chart, and I'm comfortable within a couple hundred yards of putting down an animal. Okay? That's another method. Other folks, so you might be a 800, 600, 800 yard shooter. You might be a 100, 200 yard shooter. You may be an archery. You may be an archer.
You may be muzzleloader, you may be archery, you may be spot and stock, hunt the rut. It just depends, right? And so, what this guy was getting to is like basically saying, you have no right to be happy that you harvested a cow, elk, right?
Yeah.
And you've taken heat in the past before, running the bait game, which has all of its own set of challenges as well, right? And the way I look at it, my approach is that first and foremost, I want to fill the freezer, right? Because when we talked about that recipe, I don't go to the store and buy meat. I do not. I haven't bought a steak in years and years and years. It's been over 10 years. It really
because
has.
of your successful hunting,
right? Hunting and fishing. And so in my house, the only meat that I have in my freezer right now that I didn't harvest myself is Hempler's uncured bacon. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
Other than that, so that's my first set of criteria. Okay. Once I meet that criteria and the freezer's full, which now it is, now I'm gonna switch to bull hunts. Okay.
Yeah.
So now for the year 2022, this year, I've got 2 bull hunts lined up.
Yeah.
I'm only chasing bulls. I would love to be the guy that only hunts bulls. Trust me. But as we've mentioned on the show before, you and I both, we started our hunting career relatively late in our lives, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not something that I grew up with. It's something for me that started in 2015 with a 3x4 whitetail buck. Okay, that was my first harvest of an animal.
Yep.
And now obviously I'm addicted. I've shot 5 elk, 2 bulls, 3 cows, and trust me, my goal is to chase bulls every year and not have to worry about putting meat in the freezer.
Yeah.
So there's definitely an approach on that. But this gentleman took issue with, that's like me saying during halibut season in CQ, oh, look at those people. They kept 5-pound halibut. They kept a 10-pound halibut or whatever. And like looking down on that individual. Why are you happy, right? And that is totally... well, first of all, it's disrespectful, but second of all, you don't know what that person's situation is.
Sure, not at all.
You don't know if that individual has never been halibut fishing in their life.
Correct.
That could have been their first halibut ever. Or maybe it was, the grandma that had, say, terminal cancer. That's her last trip with her grandson.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's it for her.
Yeah, good point.
So you never know what the situation is. And so you really should never judge, especially another sportsman, hunter or fisherman or fisherwoman, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't judge.
Accomplishment is accomplishment. You mentioned it's like learning to hunt and doing things. So I realized after I had engaged in this activity and talking to many people, you realize hunting archery blacktail out of a ground blind is like a really hard thing to do. And I was like, yeah, I'm 2 years into this, I'm discovering that, right? So there is that whole argument, private land versus public. I've killed animals on both.
Yep, so have I.
I've killed deer with a bow, a shotgun, and a rifle. Why? I'm just trying to, engage in opportunity.
Yeah.
So if you prepare, and whatever that means of preparation is, and you feel confident to go out and execute that, and you're successful, whether you're at 2,000 foot elevation and you got a cow tag, or it's 10,000 elevation or more, and it's a struggle, and it's where you can't gauge the success and the amount of work it takes to put all that together and find that success and provide for your family. You know, and some of this, it's that infighting amongst user groups, amongst the hunting public, or, you know, the population, that is our demise. It's like, we all need to come together to move forward on this issue, that issue. The spring bear is a great example, okay? If they were all just isolated into their kingdom saying, well, we utilize this method to go after bear at this time of year, so I'm not going to support that issue. Yeah. Well, then you're missing the point here. It's like, we all hunt.
Well, and we've talked about this point before. We're at a point in history, especially in Washington State, where it doesn't matter if the issue is hunting or fishing, and you only do one of them. If there's a fishing issue and you're a hunter, you better be supporting your fishing brethren. Yeah. Okay. Because we are such a small user group now that we have to support both sides of that equation, because we are taking part in a tradition that is dying today. And if we do not fight for what we have today, we will lose it on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to be united in taking on these challenges, to your point. So we're at 7.5 million persons here in the state of Washington. I know we're fast tracking to hit 8 million before too long. With COVID and all that we've been through the last couple of years, we saw an uptick in license sales because people needed stuff to do. Persons found the release and just the opportunity to get out and enjoy the outdoors on a different level, i.e. hunting and fishing. So we're at a pretty solid 2.5 to 3% card-carrying members who hunt of one facet or another in the state of Washington. And I think we're up at about 11% of persons who fish. That is still pennies on the dollar, man, right? So we have the majority that doesn't involve themselves in our activities, and whether you simply hunt or you just fish, or like us, you do both, doesn't matter what the issue is, to your credit, all of us have to be united in standing by each other to be successful in continuing to have the opportunity to do what it is what we love to do, right? So this infighting and this belittling of persons on social media and this, you know, I don't do it that way and you're doing it wrong. Yeah. That lens of you're doing it wrong because that's not what I do is completely the wrong perspective to take on this stuff. Yeah. So,
by the way, to the individual that made the comment, I do not care what you think. I'm going to keep doing me. Yeah. And I'm going to keep challenging myself and branching out into areas that I haven't before. And I'm sure at some point here in the future, you will see bull after bull after bull on the ground.
Just a matter of time. Yep. Give us time. We'll make it happen. So, okay, good stuff. We're going to jump out for a quick couple-minute break. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back, wrapping up the show. And, of course, we have the drawing, Tommy. Yeah, buddy. The giveaways to get out. And you're looking at a $65 hoodie with the new logo on there. We have multiple sizes, so whoever wins, we'll work that out with you later. Got one of our newer hats, tons. I think Shing threw in every decal we have.
I think she did.
Max Lure guys are putting up a pile of kokanee gear. I actually even threw, Brent doesn't know this, but I threw in a couple of the flashers. So we got a 360 rotating flasher and an inline fish flash from Max Lure with the scent chambers. Pop them apart, put your scent inside, smack them back together. So all that sitting in front of us, we're going to give that away when we come back after this couple-minute break right here at Fish Hunt Northwest. Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. Defiance boats feature a 21 to 22 degree dead rise at the transom and a large reverse chine for incredible handling and stability offshore. Defiance boats are foam, flotation filled, and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Defiance boats feature fuel-efficient hull designs with large fuel tank capacity so that you can have maximum fuel range for making long offshore runs completely safe and affordable. All Defiance boats come standard with self-bailing decks for improved safety while at sea. Defiance Boat offers all our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard.
Defiance boats for all your boating needs, and let us help you get out on the water.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Phoenix Protective Corporation strives for excellence. Above all, Phoenix security officers are managed by leaders trained to inspire and encourage greatness. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts, with service ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, K-9 detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. We here at Phoenix are looking for highly motivated individuals to apply. If you're a vet, retired or active, and would like to work with us, please apply.
All right, welcome back in studio here as we close out the show. It looks like people pretty much agreed with our previous conversation. You see what I got going on over here, Tommy?
Yeah, hey, you're stirring up some tickets there. What do you got going on?
Stirring the pot, right?
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to get this. I'm going to pull this ticket out of here right now. I'm going to set that right here. We're going to announce that winner in a couple minutes. Before we get there, yeah, that price back there well exceeds $100. So somebody's gonna land pretty good with a lot of good FHN swag and some Max gear. Hey, the Portland Sportsman Show kicks off this next Wednesday. We're gonna go down there for a day. I think you're working, but Shing, the Beard, and I are gonna go down there, walk around, see some friends that we haven't seen in a couple of years, talk to some of our sponsors, and just kind of get in there and mix it up for opening day. So if you're down there walking around on Wednesday, see us walking around. I'm sure we'll be wearing something that says FHN. Come up and say hi.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And no, we're not having a booth down there this year, but hopefully next year. Next year, I feel like we're going to be way past all this stuff.
Yeah.
We're definitely doing the Pill-Up Show. We'll be back down in Portland. We may even head to the east side on Spokane and do the Bighorn Show.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Some things in the works there. We just didn't quite have time to pull it off this year, but maybe some big things coming out of the Bighorn Show next year with FHN putting on a bit of a display there. So yeah, things to look forward to.
Guess what we got going on?
What do we got going on?
You know, and you and I were talking about this thing. Is it going to reopen? Is it not going to reopen?
Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Blackmouth is reopening. February 24th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going to be the program.
So we get to fish Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we can all take bets on how many weeks we'll get or days. And do you think we'll see some March time?
Boy, I am hopeful because I looked at the tides. Interesting tide setup. We have really minor floods. And then we got some pretty good size ebbs. I mean, if I remember right, when I looked at this first tide set, this first opening on the 24th, the flood is like 2 feet. It barely bumps, and then it just drops off, which, I mean, I say drop off, but it moves to, maybe about an 8-foot ebb or so, which is completely fishable.
Yeah.
And some of those areas up there that I like actually fish pretty good on the ebb.
There you go. And it's going to ball that bait up tight.
Oh, yeah.
Ball those fish up.
And that next weekend, the next tide set, as you roll into the first weekend of March, looks much more conducive. So I may have to schedule an extra day off work and take advantage of that. Mike Kimbrough's saying, I say 6 days of fishing. Yep.
I think he's probably about right.
2 weekend sets.
I think you're right, Mike. Yep.
Yeah, because everybody's waiting for it. There's going to be a big push. Now, if they would have coincided it with the CQ opener, we'd have a lot less pressure in Area 10. Folks would go to CQ, start jumping on that. We could spread the...
You think so? I think there's a lot of pressure in Area 10. I think CQ is kind of... Let me just say, I mean, last year, and you could say, well, it's a COVID year, but they're typically for that blackmouth fishery, there's not a lot of pressure. And I don't know why, because the fishing is phenomenal out of CQ. It really is. I mean, it's way better than Area 10 for sure.
Sure.
And I'm kind of the guy in that, I put my hat in the bucket of, I'd rather travel 4 hours and go fishing where the fish are, than hang around and fish my backyard because it's my backyard.
Sure. I get that.
Yeah.
The fact that we get an opener again, I mean, we are 25%, if I remember right, and maybe you can, 25% into our take, and we were about 50% into the sublegal encounter.
Yeah.
So that's really what we're up against is that sublegal encounter. We could easily stampede through that within 6 days on the water, especially if the weather's conducive.
Yeah.
Because we hit that margin with the first 2 days of that first 3-day set. Hardly anybody was fishing because the weather was so nasty.
Right.
Talking the 1st of January. So, yeah, everybody's kind of saying 6 if we're lucky. Matt Messing, yep. 6 if we're lucky. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping for that second weekend, Matt, because I want to get the Allied up there on the water. Surdic, if you're still on here paying attention, yes, that second set. Weather should be nice. First weekend in March. We're out there in the Allied. We should be able to even get you out there on a Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, that should work. That should work. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, that about does it. Winner of tonight's drawing. It just says here, Tommy, Parker out of Puyallup.
Parker from Puyallup.
Parker from Puyallup. And I don't know if that's a first name or last name, because it could be either.
Could be either.
Parker from Puyallup, you have won the Fish Hunt Northwest prize pack coupled with the Max Lure that you see here on the desk. We have your address and information. Message us up here on Facebook, or we can simply call you and let you know. Either way, we're going to get in touch with you, and hopefully you enjoy this stuff. We need to get your sizes before we ship that stuff out. So, well, that about wraps it up here, my friend. Well done. Lots of content covered. Any parting words?
No, I'm just going to keep losing weight and getting ready for halibut and lingcod season, and
I'm gonna spend
a couple trips before then.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a couple days still trying to get my voice back from the Sportsman show. It was almost gone. I didn't know I was gonna be able to talk tonight. It's gonna have to put you over here and me just sit there and go, yep.
Yeah, I noticed there was a lack of oxygen in the booth.
100%. Yeah. So it is what happens. All right, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please do us a favor. Continue to follow us on our social media platforms, and I mean all of them. Go to our webpage, check out the online store. If you don't see something on the online store that you may have seen at the booth at the Sportsman show, just hit us up on Messenger. Shing's kind of getting, we're revamping our inventory, seeing what we have left. We have to load up a bunch of our new stuff onto the webpage, so we may be sitting on it. You won't know unless you get us on the phone. So message us up. We'll take care of you. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook if you haven't. Like our Facebook page. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. All of those platforms are up and running and have been for quite some time. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you did, spread our content, invite your friends so we can do this each and every Thursday right here from the studio. All right, have a great week. Be safe, and we'll see you next Thursday right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.